that I stumbled across because it's the way that the universe, it's the method that the universe wanted me to have. So it's the one that I got. Somewhere probably 3 years ago, I kind of had a very dramatic awakening moment, and it became clear to me that I was supposed to be leveling up my own game. And so I sought out a teacher who just happened to be there. And it was one of these, like, you hear of them through the grapevine. And so you're like, oh, I've forgotten that somebody talked to me about that one person. So I think I'm going to get in touch with her. And from there, like, the rest unfolds just magically for you. And that's kind of how it was. I say magically. At the same time, the first year that I worked with my master teacher was not rainbows and kittens. It was not like, it wasn't a fun all the time experience. No, it was very dark. It was very, very challenging in many different regards, because what I came to realize is that the damage that I had gone through in this lifetime and many before it, damage that was inflicted upon me and damage that I inflicted upon myself, had shut my heart down, right? And when your heart is closed, you've closed the bridge. You've made it impossible to go from your primal elements to your higher conscious elements.
Wow, yeah.
So you're never going to be able to, like, really get to a higher state of consciousness without opening your heart. And our heart has the ability to open and close on its own based off of what's transpiring around us and what we've been through. And it's very instinctual. The heart will know when it's in danger, and it will close that energy center off to protect you, the human.
For sure.
So opening that was my first step, right? And just being willing to open my heart again was the first step. And that took me a solid year of meeting with this healer and teacher. And this is where I learned everything about sound healing. This is where I learned really how to meditate. This is where the same master teacher is the one who initiated me into my first 2 levels of Reiki. And so this is a very influential person in my life.
Yeah.
And after working together for some amount of time, she presented me with an opportunity to really level up my game. And it was kind of like, it was presented as, you have finally reached a level in which I can present you with this additional information, which, as like a young apprentice, in a sense, you're like, oh my God, I'm doing it. Yay. Like I've done something good. And it was super exciting. The technique, the process, the esoteric practice that she presented to me with is called Kuji Kiri. Kuji Kiri is an expanded version off of a technique, a style called Kuji In. So Kuji In is probably the more practical version. So if somebody wants to research what I'm talking about in the process, you can search Kuji In, KUJI-IN, Kuji In, and that will give you really simple steps, very similar to like the yogic 8 limbs, specific steps that you can go through to raise your vibration, to raise your frequency. Kuji Kiri takes it a bit further, and it's a bit more intensive, and it takes longer, because Kuji Kiri is not only a light body activation, but it's going to be the way that you can really unlock a lot of your magic, the magical capabilities that you possess, but that you just don't have access to with a without being fully operational, let's say.
Sure.
So you have to get yourself fully operational, and every step in the Kuji Kiri sequence raises your vibration step by step by step, and it activates a new chakra each time. The process itself is initially a 5-month sequence. So you start and you don't stop until you're done.
Wow.
And it will take at least 5 months to complete that initial sequence. And it involves some concepts that build off of our yoga conversation, which include mantra and mudras. So I'll talk about those real quick. Mantras are spoken phrases. Traditionally, mantras are written and pronounced in Sanskrit, which is, an ancient language originating in India and the East. Sanskrit mantras are said to be spiritually infused. They just speaking them gives off a certain frequency and vibration that connects you with more divine elements of the world and of the universe. There's a mantra for just about anything, and there's specific mantras associated with this Kuji Kiri that you recite every single day. Every single morning at the beginning of your meditation, you recite this mantra 956 times, and you count along with your mala, right?
Oh yes,
so,
okay, yeah.
A mala is used for reciting mantras.
Yes,
and
yes,
it's so that you can count as you go. So you repeat this specific mantra for the specific energy center of your being, and you learn a mudra. So a mudra is a hand gesture, and there are mudras for just about everything as well. But each one, by holding this hand posture or hand gesture, it again embodies a certain energy and frequency that aligns you with higher concepts, higher consciousness. And then there is a period of silent reflection. So meditation. The silent meditation follows your initial steps. And I'm kind of giving you just like the broad overview of it, but you repeat those so let's say I'm activating, to make it simple, I'm going to say, let's say I'm activating my root chakra. There will be a mantra associated with it. There will be a mudra that I hold while I meditate silently, and I ponder the concepts that are associated with my root chakra.
That makes sense.
Right? And so I do that for 12 days in a row.
Oh, okay, wow.
And then I take 2 days off. And then I move on to the next step, which would be then activating my sacral chakra. And I will do the same sequence. There's a new mantra that I learn. And so every day I work my way through my mala and I repeat it however many hundreds of times. And that the mantra element is really powerful, because the more you're repeating something in like this steady rhythm, the more you start to hear weird, interesting elements of it that you didn't hear when you were just saying it. It's like you start to tap into different sounds and different frequencies just by repeating this phrase. It's so fascinating to me.
Wow.
Frequency, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you go through this process of essentially connecting with yourself on an energetic, emotional, and physical level. Very much like with yogic practices, Kuji Kiri has qigong exercises that you practice. There are different elements. There are different elements to the whole process that I maybe won't get into today because they're a little bit more complex. But what I'll say is, usually for these more esoteric ventures, we're needing somebody to kind of like show us the way.
Yeah.
Right.
I would never have been able to understand these concepts and figure this out myself.